It's time for the Pilates Glute Workout you've all been waiting for, designed for dancers. First up, Ballet Bridge Series Part 1. Lie down on your back, let's go. First up, mini bridges, just tilting the hips just off the floor, engaging the glutes. Make sure you're curling through every vertebrae you have in the lower region. Keep going, we're just warming up the body. Now do exactly the same, but lift the heels off the floor so we engage the hamstrings more and really feel the backs of the legs. Rise up onto demi-point as you lift the hips off the floor. Now we do a full bridge, all the way to the top of the spine and curling all the way down. Make sure you're going through every vertebra, engaging the glutes as you go up and down. You can place your hands on your glutes just to make sure that you are engaging your glutes and not overworking your hamstrings. Your glutes should be good and activated, and now getting warmer. Now we do exactly the same, but we lift the heels off the floor, so they reach demi-point at the top of the hip raise. This time we're keeping the heels off the floor as we go up and down. Which makes it a little bit harder. These may look like simple moves, but soon enough you'll be burning. Now lift one leg off the floor and we'll do single leg raises, curling through the spine to full bridge on the left leg. Again, make sure you're going through the whole spine and not arching your back so that the strain goes into your back and not in your glutes. Place your hand on your glutes and make sure you are using it totally. You're doing great. Now, exactly the same, but go to demi-point as you get to the top. Rise up and down. Rise up and down. Rise up and down. Rise up and down. Keep going. Now at the top, do little pulses. Pulse, 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 pulse on demi-point. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Now bring the heel down and up, still pulsing. Heel down and up, heel down and up, heel down and up, heel down and up. This is great for the intrinsic muscles in the foot and calf. Stabilizing. Now bring the top leg to the knee, holding the supporting leg in demi-point. Down, up. Keeping the hips up, do not let them drop as you bring the leg down. And switch sides. Exactly the same on the other side. So we start with the normal bridge series on one leg. Curling up and down. Curling up and down. Make sure your glute is totally working. And again, but with rises on the other foot. Make sure the rises are controlled and you're not just flicking into demi-point and down. that you're really using every part of the foot. Now pulses, pulse, 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 pulse on demi point. And now bring the working leg to the knee, down and up, keeping the hips up, inner thighs squeezing together as you bring the knees together. And relax. Now side lying glute series, part 2. Lie down on your side in a 4-point kneeling position. 90-degree angle with the knees and clamps. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. Making sure the hips are stable. You are only moving from the pelvis. Now inner rotation. The knees are together and you're just lifting the feet further away from each other, getting a different part of the glute working. This is just as important. Now one of each, inward and outward, keeping the core as still as you can. Inward and outward. Inward and outward. Inward and outward. Now we bring the knee further away from the supporting leg. Keep turning inwards and outwards. Extend the bottom leg and extend the top leg into a side développé, not too high, just to 90 degrees. Passe out, passe out. Make sure your body and legs are in one line, squeezing the glutes and extending the legs further away from you. Inward, outward. Now flex both feet, spread the little toes, bring the heels together and passe all the way up to a développé. Down and développé, using the feet, spreading the little toes, wrapping them around, creating the turnout you need. And now bring the legs together and we'll do beats. Beat, 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 beat. Keep going. Keep the torso as still as possible, just using the inner thighs. And every time you beat, the turnout is feeling greater and greater. You're wrapping the legs around, spiraling the legs, creating the turnout from the hips, from the torso, from the ribs. And other side. Outward and inward. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. You're doing great. You can rest the other leg for a while. And inward. And now inwards and down. Inwards and down. Inwards and down. Inwards and down. Wrap the calf round. Make sure you're not sickling the feet. The feet are nice and wrapped around as well. And now the same, the inward and outward. Inward and outward. Make sure the hips are isolated. Nothing is moving apart from the leg. Now lift the leg further up to 90 degrees. You're about to extend the bottom leg and retire the top leg into a passe. And up, down 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 and up. As you extend the leg, the rotation is greater, as if you're doing a rond de jambe en l'air, constantly increasing your turnout. Now flex both feet, draw the heels together and passe up to à la seconde. Passe up to à la seconde. Your whole body is in one line. The glutes are strong. The base of the glute is strong. Your torso is like a steel rod. And now beat, 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 beat. Inner thighs squeezing together with one hand off the floor. If you're feeling very strong, you can lift your arms into fifth. But make sure your form is there. Now 2 feet together, kneeling position, and you're curling through the spine, squeezing through the hamstrings all the way up to a 90-degree angle. This is great for the backs of the legs. Curling up and straight down, curling through the back and straight down, initiating the movement from the backs of the legs. Keep going. And now little pulses while you're there. Try to balance in this 90-degree position, not letting your backs of the legs waver or release. And now some slower beats, holding the position a little longer. And release. Now on your side, one hand on the floor and one knee on the floor. Lift the leg up and down. Make sure your arm is underneath your shoulder and your supporting leg is parallel with your hip. We're not too far over it or beyond it. Keep lifting the leg up and down. You should really feel this on the side of the glute. Make sure your body is in one line again. Now circles, onde-yo, 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 and onde-don, 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 onde-don. And now turn out, reach the heel towards the opposite wall and passe out, passe out, passe out. Keeping the glutes underneath you. Now grab the heel and stretch all the way up. Relax into the hip, no tension in the hip flexors. Now release the leg and try to hold it there, passe up using the hamstring. Push your heel towards the top of the ceiling. Keep going, in, out, and relax. Other side. Remember, arm underneath your shoulder and knee underneath your hip. Raising the leg up in parallel and down. In parallel, down, parallel, down. Raise the leg up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Circles, onde-yo, 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 and onde-don, 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 onde-don. Now, heel towards the opposite wall and extend, passe out, passe out, passe out. Really feeling the turnout muscles in the glute. Grab the heel, extend to the ceiling and stretch for a moment. Relaxing in the hip, no tension, and try to keep it there and extend to the ceiling. Extend to the ceiling and relax. Hamstrings and floor bar series. Onto all fours, 4-point kneeling. Extend one leg to the back and flex the toes underneath you and paint the floor to point the foot. Brushing the floor with your toes, spreading the toes wide. Lift up to a 90-degree angle and down, initiating the movement from the hamstring. And down. Impact. Turn out and turn in. Turn out and turn in. And now circles in turn out. Onde-yo, 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 onde-yo. And onde-don, 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 onde-don. Now, donkey kick in and out. Passe in with the flex foot, out, in, out, in, out. Try to keep the torso lifted and strong as possible. Now bring the knee in towards your head, curling the spine and extend all the way up into attitude as high as you can, keeping the torso straight, not overarching. Now kick up and down in arabesque, up and down, up and down, and hold it there, attitude as high as you can, keeping the lift in the supporting side, extending to the ceiling, hold, 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 and come down. Hip circles with the leg. We're keeping going on this leg. I know it's probably hurting by now. Circles on the yaw and on the don, really using every part of the hip. Other side. Brushing the floor like your foot is a paintbrush. Painting the floor with those toes. Lift up in parallel, lift up and turn out. Lift up in parallel, lift up and turn out. Lift up in parallel. Circles. Oh, we're going into donkey kicks. Donkey kicks in and out. In and out. In and out. In and out. Draw the knee in towards the chest, up to attitude. In towards the chest, up to attitude. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale as it comes in, exhale as it goes up to attitude. Inhale as it comes in, exhale as it comes up to attitude. And now kicks to arabesque. Kicks to arabesque. Kick up and down. Notice how I don't let my back overly arch. I'm still keeping engaged. And now extend attitude to the ceiling as high as you can, keeping the glutes strong, torso strong, and release. Keeping, remember, on this side, and more hip circles outward, outward, and inward, inward, as isolated as you can with the hip. Well done. Now onto floor bar, legs in second, flexed, flex, point, flexed, point, flexed, point. Make sure you're keeping a nice picture of the foot. It's nice and winged, it's not sickled. Into frogs, pointed out to second, frogs pointed out to second. Keep going. The glutes and spine are aiming for the floor. Now flexed inwards, flexed, and bring them to first. Gather them to first. Don't let your back arch as you bring the legs to first. Keeping them going. Inwards, inwards, inwards. The arms are just relaxed on your forehead, head towards your hands. Keeping the stomach engaged. Now pointed into frogs and back to first. 3 times, and then we flex twice, wrapping the calves around. Pointed in frogs, back into first, and flex twice. Into frogs to first, into frogs to first, into frogs to first, and flex and flex. Into frogs and first, into frogs, into frogs, flex and flex. Base of the glute is where you should be feeling this, and the hamstrings. Now we do the same. We take the legs to à la seconde, and then we have right leg into passe, left leg into passe, both legs into frogs and back to first. Plie, second, passe, out, in, down. À la seconde, passe, out, in, down. Now 45-degree angle, in, out, passe, out, in, down. When you go to 45, the stomach has to be even more engaged, and the glutes. The glutes are pointing towards the opposite wall, as if your body is super long. Nothing is arching. You are totally parallel. And now feet. Feet are at a 45-degree angle. You bring one leg out to second and back, other leg out, and beat, 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 beat. Out, in, beat, 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 beat. This is a great exercise. Again, keeping the core engaged as you do this. This is key. Nothing should be arching. Now a few back exercises. Keeping the glutes strong and the legs strong. Don't relax the legs, just lift the upper back off the floor. Now bring your arms behind you, grasping your hands, and come all the way up. The arms are really leading you up. The core is engaged as you do this. Curling from, imagine your vertebrae curling from the base all the way up. And now arms into fifth and come all the way up. This is for very advanced dancers. All the way up, and now super advanced, up and all the way back, and try to get your hands to touch the floor. Only if you can do this. This takes a lot of practice. It requires strength and flexibility for the back. Just skip this or do the beginner's version if you are not ready. Again, if you can do this, bring the feet to the head and little pulses, engaging the backs of the leg and the hamstrings as much as you can. Relax. Little cat stretch. Clasp heels and pull your hands away. Last few things now coming up. Advanced bridge. Come to your head and pulse the hands down, breathing out, exhaling. This is a great exercise. Even more advanced, come onto demi point. Less of a balance for you. This makes it harder. And now push all the way up to a bridge for a quick stretch. Try to extend the legs, bringing the head to your bum if you can, and come all the way down. Do a little rolls onto the back to release it. You're doing so good. We are almost there. Now knee circles just to finish off. Knees together and push the heels into the floor as you go round to the right with your knees. You don't need to do rotations around the room. This is just me showing you what it looks like. The knees are together. As you straighten the legs, you push the pelvis forward and push the heels into the floor. You should really feel the glutes and the backs of the legs. I love this exercise. It's so simple but so good. Now to finish off, we can just do a few rises, feeling your new toned glutes that are super activated. Feeling great, you should feel so on balance. And thank you so much for watching. You did it. That was awesome. You can do this before class in a shortened version, just doing less reps. And thanks for watching. Good work everyone. Let me know what you thought in the comments. See you soon.